Hey everyone, Bandana here, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the top 10 most wish-listed RTS games on Steam as of June 2024, along with a couple of notable mentions at the end. First up is an absolutely outstanding looking game that we've had a look at before on the channel, and that is Falling Frontier. Made by a one-man band effectively, this space RTS, though single player only, has a lot of really cool features, including the ability to design your ships, raid enemy supply lines, lay minefields, construct recon stations, ambush enemy forces within asteroid fields and nebula, etc, etc. And on top of all of that, you've obviously got these epic space battles which are shown off a lot in the videos. Though honestly, from the videos, the most exciting thing I've seen, other than the immense detail on all of the ships and all of the mechanics of those ships, has to be the orbital bombardment of a planet. This just looks totally epic. Sadly, it's still just coming soon. Next up is a game we've covered a lot on this channel so far, and that is Broken Arrow, a game that is set for release towards the end of this year still at the moment, and is expected to have another beta around September this year. An extremely fun RTS game that is not too difficult to get into. You get in, you build your deck, and you have customizable units within that deck through a range of options to change out the weapons, armor, optics, engines, as well as various other things on different types of vehicles and infantry. With over 200 realistic military units from Russia and the USA, Broken Arrow sets up a fictional war between the USA and Russia, with plans to add more nations down the line, with technology ranging from that available in the Cold War era all the way up to modern day and slightly beyond. At launch it will have a full single player campaign, 5v5 multiplayer, and also a scenario editor allowing people to make their own scenarios and game modes. Certainly one I'm personally looking forward to. Next up is a game with some serious pedigree, and that is Stormgate by Frost Giant Studios, a team that previously, or at least some of them, worked for Blizzard on the StarCraft games. Much like the StarCraft series, it is a sci-fi based RTS, with a focus on 1v1 ranked gameplay and obviously aiming towards the esports arena. They are also planning for an ever-evolving campaign, grouping for up to 3 players as co-op versus AI, competing in 1v1 as noted, and also future modes in development include 3v3 and a powerful editor. Again, I imagine they'll be aiming for things like not only map editing, but also game mode editing, much like you had in the older Warcraft and StarCraft games. Next up is Tempest Rising, again a game we have covered before on the channel. This is likely to be the closest we get to a proper sequel to Command & Conquer, since the story is very similar. Taking on the role of the Global Defense Force, or the Tempest Dynasty, aka the GDI or the Brotherhood of Nod, you'll be fighting for access to the resource Tempest, where the Tempest veins grow across the planet. Much like the CNC games, you will be building bases and building up your forces to attack the enemy through both a single-player story campaign and also, of course, multiplayer. There are plans for a third faction, but it won't be coming till after launch due to them wanting to focus on the main 2 factions first and then worry about the other later. It has some absolutely cracking music already, and they've brought Frank Lepaki on board, who made a lot of the music for the CNC titles. Currently, release is targeted at the end of 2024. Next up is the hotly anticipated Age of Mythology Retold. Unfortunately for this remaster of the original, all we've had so far is a little teaser and also some screenshots which I've stuck up in the background now. Obviously, we would expect the gameplay to be very similar to the original, much like an Age of Empires game, but with gods and godly powers. Choosing from the Greek, Norse, Egyptian or Atlantean gods. Call upon various monsters and mythical creatures such as centaurs, trolls, mummies and more. Embark on a 50-mission campaign across an epic mythological universe, and take things online in multiplayer either versus other players or versus the AI. Some of you may be too young to remember the original, but it was a nice twist on the Age of Empires formula. Currently slated for release sometime in 2024. Perhaps next is a game that needs no real introduction, and that is Sins of a Solar Empire 2, the long-awaited follow-up to the original Sins of a Solar Empire that released back in 2008. Obviously it had various expansions beyond that, but it remained pretty much the same game. Mixing both 4X and real-time tactics together over an expansive universe. You play the game as one of the 3 unique races, either the TEC, the Vazari, or the Advent. Each race features unique starting conditions, gameplay mechanics, units, abilities, items, and technologies. They also each have a new Empire system, allowing a new level of strategic capability, the TEC with a focus on trade, the Vasari with phase resonance mastery, and the Advent Unity, enabling them to harness the collective will of their population. And each of those races will have their own sub-factions to play as well. It includes all the customization you would expect from such a game while you're managing your empire and fleet. Not to mention the ongoing need for diplomacy and dealing with minor factions, with up to 10-player multiplayer support. The game has been available on Epic for a while it is still in development, but is expected to release fully later this year on Steam. Next up is a rather unusual one, Ratten Reich. A rather unique RTS aiming to have realistic combat with a steampunk/dieselpunk world inhabited by anthropomorphic rats, mice, cockroaches and lizards. I did warn you it was unique. The overall visuals of the game certainly scream World War I/World War II. Its recent demo was quite mixed in its reviews, but obviously the game is quite a ways off being released, so there's a lot of time for the team to work on the game. Certainly one to keep an eye on. Next up is Fragile Existence. This one is a bit of a mixture, so you have a space side where you have space RTS combat as well as management of various systems, and you will also engage in traditional RTS style battles with base building and unit production on the planets themselves. And planet control is paramount in this game, rich with resources but also dangers. And no matter the situation, logistics and resource management are key. You need to keep your units supplied with ammo, and you need to make sure you have plenty of humans to man the guns and pilot the ships, as in this game there's a limit to how much the drones can do. Oh, and don't forget to feed your people, because the overall aim in this game is to resist extinction. Fragile Existence is expected sometime in 2024. Next up is Empire of Ants, the second ant-based RTS to come along recently. You may have seen me playing the other one, Empires of the Undergrowth. The standout difference here is that Empire of Ants is made in Unreal Engine 5 and looks absolutely stunning. They listed themselves as a photorealistic strategy game where you play as a fearless ant and guide your colony through the dangers of the forest. Adapt to survive as you play through different times of day and also different seasons. Expand your anthill, strengthen your army, conquer new nests, make unusual allies, and hunt down dangerous foes, in both a single-player campaign and multiplayer battles. Again, Empire of Ants is expected sometime in 2024. And finally, at number 10 on the list, before we head into the bonus games, we have Dwarf, real-time strategic conflict. Take command of 3 different factions in a twisted vision of the future. Construct sprawling bases, scour the land for resources to mine and refine, and assemble powerful armies of land, air and sea units to smash your enemies. In a game that looks in many ways very reminiscent of the old Command & Conquer games with this 2D art style. And if you thought the units in Command & Conquer were a bit bonkers, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you're looking for a crazy traditional RTS experience, then this one is definitely one to watch. Unfortunately, there's no release date as yet. Next up, it's time for a few honourable mentions. First up is Commandos Origins, the long-awaited sequel to the Commandos series, a real-time tactics game set in World War II, where you will witness the very beginnings of the legendary elite force. Use the combined skill set of the Green Beret, the Sniper, the Sapper, the Diver, the Marine and the Spy to achieve your goals in a variety of mission types, including hostage rescue, sabotage, or even just a daring raid. This is one of those games with many paths to victory, so you can play it in your unique style. And you'll be doing that in over 10 missions in a historically authentic World War II environment, spanning from the barren Arctic to the African deserts, with a range of core and voluntary objectives that will require your full tactical expertise, and the game will be playable in 2-player co-op. Certainly worth a look if you're interested in something a little bit smaller scale and more focused on just a few units. It's expected sometime in 2024. Next up is a game I just have to mention again, and that is Sanctuary Shattered Sun. Still to be announced in terms of release date, we are expecting a demo this year. The team continue to make great strides in the development process, and have actually just recently released this video of the cracking of the Dyson Sphere itself, which is one of the super weapon abilities in the game that literally collapses the ground from under you. This is a game that many see as the spiritual successor to the Supreme Commander games, boasting the ability to control hundreds and hundreds of units over massive battlefields where you can zoom all the way out to the strategic level. If you're a fan of games like Supreme Commander and Total Annihilation, this is going to be a game you do not want to miss. Keep your eyes peeled, as I will definitely be covering the demo on the channel later this year. And that brings us to the end of our list. Was there anything there you were particularly looking forward to? Something you've never heard of before? Or do you think there was something missing that just didn't make it that high in the Steam wishlists, but you think it deserves a place up there? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching everyone, I'll see you all soon.